Hey guys, it's John with ReelBlue Custom Rods, and today I'm going to do the first probably a 3 or 4 part series on doing flag wraps. And so this one is going to be my take. It's going to be an American flag wrap, but it's going to be my take on the American flag. So I'm building this rod as a custom build for a Army veteran, infantryman getting ready to retire. And so the people that placed the order, wanted to make it very, infantry specific. So I'm trying to keep colors, and different things like that. I think it's going to be a great build. So you're going to really have to stay tuned, to it on Instagram and on my Facebook page, ReelBlue Custom Rods, LLC. But, again, so we're going to do this American flag, decorative wrap, and instead of using red, white, and blue, I'm just going to use different colors of blue and silver instead of the 3 traditional colors of the flag. And we'll see how it comes out. One blue will really be kind of the over wrap to take up some of the extra space on the rod. And that's going to be the darker blue or more of the navy blue, which is a more traditional infantry color. And then I'll use these 2 lighter metallic blues for, a dark one and then a lighter one for the red and the white stripes on the flag. And then when I get to the stars portion of the flag, I'm going to use a blue and silver braided thread and then just a silver metallic thread. And so we'll see how it comes out. All right, so stay with me and let's get started. All right, so the first thing I want to do this is basically here. You can see where I've got the lower portion of the handle on here. I left the spot for the fighting butt where that will go at. This is a beautiful blank here, carbon, or it's actually a composite blank. It's a Bushido blank, and it's a great all-around rod. It's a 2-piece 8.5-foot rod, which we're building for a catfish rod. So the very first thing I need to do when getting ready to do pretty much any decorative wrap is I want to measure the diameter of the butt of the rod. So the way I like to do that is I'll take some masking tape. I'll come around the end. I like to get that on there. All right. So now I got my masking tape on there. All right, as you can see. And then what I want to do, I want to go ahead and I'm going to score where the tape is at. Now, once I've scored where that tape is at, you can see that line right there. I'm just going to come back. I'm just trying to pop this up a little bit, give myself something to grab a hold of. There we go. All right, and so this piece of tape now with the straight edges, that's going to be my measurement for the diameter of the blank. And then I need this to get the correct spacing. So I need this piece of tape, which is going to give me the diameter of the rod blank, but that's going to give me the appropriate spacing on my cross points on the wrap. All right, so let's move to the next stage. Okay, so now, so you can see the blank is kind of blurry a little bit, and you see down here where it says infantry. So this is the piece of tape from that butt wrap on this rod. And then I just labeled it infantry because that's telling me that it's for this infantry rod. And then what I want to do is there's a couple ways I can do this. I could use the tape to measure out my cross marks on the rod, or I could use a ruler. So the first thing I want to do is I want to measure. Right? I want to measure how long that piece of tape is. Again, that's going to give me the diameter of the rod. And as you can see, I know it might not look quite lined up in the camera, but we're edge to edge. So we're at 2 1/8 inch. All right, so we don't forget 2 1/8 inch, right? So for this flag wrap, what we want to do is we want to have our cross marks on the blank at least 3 times the length of the diameter of the rod. So that means a 2 1/8 inch diameter of the rod means that our cross marks will be spread out at 6 3/8 inches on the rod blank. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and measure that out and mark it up on the blank. All right, guys. So now we're gonna go ahead and take that 2 1/8, multiply it 2 1/8 inch, multiply it times 3. We have 6 3/8 inch, and that's where we're gonna make our marks on this rod. Now, I am only gonna have 1 American flag on this rod. Just because the diameter of the rod, of course, is a little bigger, and for the space between the end of the forend and the first guide, I'm just going to have 1 American flag, and then I'll have in blue, and then I'll have some other wrap stuff going on around it. So I have my ruler, and again, what I want to do, I have my rod level, and then I want to come back and measure 6 3/8, 6. You know what I'm going to do? We're just going to make it easy. So I'll take my tape. I'm going to find my mark, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Just because the marks on the ruler blend in. Try to make sure I'm centered on top of the rod, where I think I want to be at. All right, so you can see that mark right there. That's my 6 7/8 mark. Now, what this is going to do, right? If I had a smaller diameter rod, which means I have, I wouldn't have 6 inches in between my cross points. I'd be, of course, a lot smaller. But what you want to do is you always want to make sure down here towards your forend, you want to have enough room to start the wrap, right? And then down here at the other end of the rod, so down here, and you can see this is going to be the top of my first guide. So what I want to do is I want to have enough room to start the wrap. Then this is approximately where my flag will start being created. Then I want to have enough room on the wrap on the rod to continue going down. And another important key factor about this rod when you're doing an American flag wrap or a flag wrap, for any matter, what you want to do is you want to move in one direction. So a lot of wraps, you work down towards the rod and then you come back towards the other end on a back wrap. You don't want to do that on the American flag or the flag wrap, What you want to do is you just want to start at your forend and always work towards the tip top end of the rod. Okay? All right, so the next thing that I want to do just for me, so I have an understanding of what I'm doing, right, a good reference point, is I'm going to go ahead and turn the rod blank 180 degrees, right? And I want to make sure that that rod blank is nice and level. All right, and then now what I want to do is I want to take that 6 3/8 and I want to divide it in half. And you're going to see why here in a second. So when I take the 6 3/8 and I divide it in half, I'm going to get 3 3/16 of an inch. All right, and so I'm using my tape to mark that 3 3/16. Now, why did I do that? All right, so after I rotated the rod 180 degrees, what I wanted predetermined, so I try to make sure I'm centered on the rod blank once the guides are on. I want that flag to be popping right there in front of the person or the owner's face when they're fishing, right? So what I want to do is I want to get half the distance, 6 3/8 inches, divide by 2, I get 3 3/16 inch. What that's going to do is I'm going to take and mark the rod. Let me get my pen, sorry. Let me get my pen ready. And so I'm going to take and mark the rod blank now. At 6 3/8 inches. And now what that's going to do, you can see my 6 3/8 inch mark, right? Which is half the distance to my my 6 3/8 mark, half the distance of 3 3/16 is right here. This is where when I start my thread wrap, I'm going to cross here on the under point to make sure that I reach my 6 3/8 mark up here on the top. Again, centered to where the rod or where the flag, where I want the flag to be on the rod as I'm working with it, right? And then of course I would do the same thing from down here. So I have my 6 7/8 mark. And now what I want to do is make sure that I have a halfway mark underneath here. And a good way to do that, is just come back to my 3 3/16 mark, set my tape mark back up for the 6 1 2 3/8. I come back up here, align my 0. So I take my 0 and put it on my 3 3/16 mark. And now I have my 6 3/8 mark right here. I make that mark center on the rod blank. So now I have 2 marks, right? One at 3/16 and then one 6 3/8 down the rod is going to be my other half from right here. So basically I placed 3 marks on the rod, and I can do the same thing, right? To go here and say, hey, 6 7/8 from the, or 6 3/8 from the 6 3/8 that we previously had. Make sure the rod is centered. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I'm all lined up. I come back here. And that way I know when I come back over, so I'll take over, I'll come underneath the rod at 3 3/16. I'll come on top of the rod to start my flag wrap at 6 3/8. I'll come underneath at 9 6/16. And then I'm back up top here, and this will be my 2 cross points. So I have 2 cross points at the top, 2 cross points at the bottom. And I really hope I'm not making this too hard on you guys to understand. All right. And so that's really what we do to prep the rod. Again, we get the diameter of the blank butt, right? We do that with the tape, pull that out. Once we pull that off, once we have that, we triple the rod diameter in length, and then we measure that out on our blank before we start the wrap. Okay. Okay, guys. So now what I want to do is I want to set up a couple marks where I know my tape, or excuse me, where I know I can wrap my thread on, or I can, I can apply my thread to something as I'm doing the wrap. So the first thing I want to do, just bear with me. So I like to always cover up the forend as much as I can because I don't want any thread to pull down and kind of cut into it and mess it up when I'm pulling it tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take masking tape. I'll come over the top. Get it lined up where I want it at. Too far forward. Actually, that'll work. So I take some masking tape. I'll make a wrap around. And then all I'm going to do is make a bite right here and start rotating the other direction. And what I'm trying to do now is put the tape basically on itself, right? So I basically took the masking tape and I'm trying to make it double-sided, if you will. And then tear it off, and then there we go. So this is now the sticky side, as you can see, right? And that's going to be how I'm going to apply my thread as I'm doing the wrap. And then what I'm going to do is kind of the same thing down here. So I know that right on that tape is going to be one of my cross marks for the rod. It's that mark there. Right, this mark right here is left over from the grease pencil where when I was trying to measure the space for my guide that's going to go on there. So I'm basically going to do the same thing here. So I like to kind of go right next to this part of the tape, spin it around, get a good bite on itself, and then come back over the top like this. And then I've got 2 sticky parts of tape that will support my thread wrap. Okay. And then we pull back our colors. So the colors that I want to use, I said that I know I want this darker navy blue, and this is just regular nylon thread. This is not color fast thread. So I want to use this for my over wrap on all the extra thread that I'll be having. And then I want to use the same color nylon thread, but this is a color fast thread. So that means this one will retain its color that you see here, right? Versus this one. So one's almost a little brighter, right? And then I'm going to use this one. And then I want to use the metallic colors. Now the question is do I use the 2 metallic colors for the colors of the 2 metallic blues, excuse me, for the colors for red and white? Or do I use a color fast blue and a metallic blue? That is the question. And I think what I may decide to do, is go with a color fast option and then a blue option. Right, but I don't know if I want to have a metallic lighter blue. What do you guys think? You think I should go with, you guys think I should go with the lighter metallic blue, which is this one here, the darker metallic blue? So just use these 2 colors for my red and white colors to replace my red and whites, or should I use one of these metallic colors and the color fast blue? Let me know down in the comments block what you think. Should I go with 2 metallic threads, or should I go with 2 metallic threads, or should I go with 1 metallic thread, 2 metallic threads, or 1 metallic thread and the color fast? Let me know what you guys think in the comments block. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I decided to go with basically a middle color metallic blue as my white. And then I'm going to use a color fast blue option for my red thread. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my thread started. I'm going to get my thread started down here on my masking tape, as you can see. And so all I'm doing is rotating that over to get a good bite on it. And then what I will do is I will start the wrapping process, right? I will start the wrapping process and make sure that I hit my key points, being my 6 3/8 inch mark there, and then my 3 3/16 inch mark right there. So I'll start going ahead and wrapping. So I crossed over the 3 3/16 inch mark, which is right there. You know what actually I want to do? I think I'm going to come back and I'm going to make that just a little bigger for my reference, because once you put a piece of thread over it, it kind of covers it up sometimes. Same thing there, right? So I got that. Let me get my thread tightened back up really quick. All right, so now I'm going to come over. I'm looking for that 3 3/16 inch mark. Bam, right there. So you can see I came right over on top of the 3 3/16 inch mark. And I want to back up and I want to try that again. 3 3/16. Trying to get the right crossing point at 3 3/16, which is right there. So what I want to do is I want to come back a little bit on my tape. Three 3/16. Okay, I want to back up a little bit more. Bear with me, I'm trying to get good, trying to get this thread lined up just right. Three 3/16. All right, and then I'm down here on my end, I got it wrapped up. I'm gonna go ahead and make a cut on the thread, stick that extra piece down, and then we're good to go. Right there. Now what I want to do, got a piece of tape, I want to come back, so I cross over. Yeah, came a little short. So I came right over the tape there, down here on this end, right over my mark, right here. I want to come back, make sure I'm over the mark here at 3 3 or 6 3/8. Then I'm coming back here to make sure I'm over the mark on this one, which is my 3 3/16 mark. That should be good. All right, so now I got one piece of thread on there, right? Now what I want to do is I want to do the same thing and come back with another piece of thread right along the same So we'll set the piece of tape down. I'm going to use another piece of tape just to make sure I get that good bite right there, because I don't want it to slip on me. I'm going to come right over the top. So now I'm coming up on the top side of this thread, and I'm going to rotate. Get a good bite down here on this end where I wanted to cross at. And now I'm good to go. So now I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You guys will see As we start wrapping, we'll start getting this on top of each other here, right? Which that's the one that I really care about. I want to make sure it's all nice and lined up. So 2 thread wraps, right? 2 strands of that blue is 1 band of what I'm going to call my white. And then now what I want to do is I want to do the red color. So for the red, I'm going to be using this Color Fast blue. All right, so I'm going to get an initial start. All right, so I'm getting an initial start. Now this Color Fast blue is going to be my first, what I'm calling my red for the American flag, right? I hit my mark down here on this end, and then I wrap it. Also, I want to point out, remember what I said, I'm moving in one direction on this rod. I'm always moving towards the tip top. I'm not coming back and doing any type of back wrap. All right. And so get my blue thread on there. Bear with me. A little tricky trying to get this angle on this blue. So I'm coming back over. All right, with my second strand of the Color Fast blue. All right, so I'm almost there. We go. And I got my second blue, or my second strand of my Color Fast blue. So I have, ideally, I've got my first white stripe, which is going to be my bottom stripe of the flag. All right, and then now I've got my first, which is represented by this metallic blue, and then I have my first red stripe, which is represented by the Color Fast blue here. And now what I want to do is I want to repeat that. So I want to do the white color 3 more times and what would be the red color 2 more times. So I should have a total of seven stripes, which would actually equal 14, right? So I should have 4 metallic. In this case, I should have 4 metallic blue, and then I should have a so I should have a metallic blue, and then I should have a Color Fast blue, then another metallic blue, then a Color Fast blue, then a metallic blue, then a Color Fast blue, then a metallic blue. And again, always moving up the direction of the rod. So let me go ahead and fast forward a little bit and we'll get caught up. Okay guys, so now you can see where I have 4 metallic blue strands, right, for a total of 8. So each strand or band is 2 strands of thread. So I have 4 bands of metallic blue and 3 bands of color fast blue. So that's going to replicate my first 7 stripes, lower stripes of the American flag. So we'll continue to go on from here and see how this transpires. But you can see here, here's my point. This is my 6 3/8 point centered on the rod. And that's basically where we're going to build the flag out. So the flag will be centered on this part of the decorative wrap. Okay, so that's it for part 1 of the American flag wrap or American flag decorative wrap. Again, if you like what I'm doing, please hit the subscribe button. Leave me some notes down in the comments block if you want to see something different. Oops, sorry. If you want to see something different, let me know. Or you want to see the same kind of wrap in different colors. I'm all ears. So again, please leave a comment down in the comment block. Hit that like button and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the videos. And I really do appreciate people that are subscribing to my channel. I hope you guys have a great day and a great week. Take care. Until next time.